The chest pains had started that morning while I was helping Lucas and Natasha prepare for their bakery's grand reopening. 6 months of renovations, new equipment, and expanded seating. Their dream was finally becoming reality. "Mom, you've been working too hard," Lucas said, watching me lean against the counter. "Why don't you sit down?" "I just need my medication," I said, reaching for my purse where I kept my heart pills. Dr. Peterson had been very clear about taking them at the first sign of symptoms. Natasha looked up from arranging pastries in the display case, her expression immediately shifting to annoyance. "Oh, here we go again. What's that supposed to mean?" I asked, finding my pill bottle. "The dramatic health episodes whenever we're busy with something important," she said, rolling her eyes. "It's always something with you, Gloria. Always some crisis that needs attention." I stared at her, genuinely shocked. "Natasha, I have a documented heart condition. These aren't episodes." "Right," she said sarcastically. "And somehow these episodes always happen when Lucas and I are focused on our business instead of babysitting you." Lucas looked uncomfortable but didn't defend me. "Mom, maybe you are getting a little worked up about the reopening. It's been stressful for everyone." I opened the pill bottle with shaking hands. Whether from the chest pain or from hurt, I couldn't tell. But before I could take the medication, Natasha snatched the bottle from me. "You know what? I'm tired of this manipulation," she declared, walking straight to the trash can. "Stop being dramatic." And with that, she dumped my entire bottle of heart medication into the garbage. The silence that followed was deafening. I looked at Lucas, waiting for him to say something, to defend me, to retrieve my medication from the trash. Instead, he shook his head with exasperation. "Mom, honestly, you're being a hypochondriac. Dr. Peterson said your stress tests were fine last year." "Last year," I repeated quietly. "Before the episode started. Before the new medication." "There's always some new symptom, some new medication," Natasha added. "It's exhausting, Gloria. We're trying to run a business here." I walked to the trash can and looked down at my medications scattered among coffee grounds and pastry scraps. Each pill represented my doctor's careful calibration of my treatment, months of adjustment to find the right dosage. "Lucas," I said calmly, "I'm going to ask you one more time to help me get my medication out of this trash." "Mom, you don't need those pills. You need to stop looking for reasons to be sick." That was the moment I realized I'd lost my son completely. The boy I'd raised alone after his father died, the one I'd worked 3 jobs to put through culinary school, the one I'd helped fund his bakery dreams. He genuinely believed I was faking a heart condition for attention. "I see," I said quietly. "Well, in that case, I think it's time for me to go home." Finally, Natasha muttered, "We have a business to run." I gathered my purse and coat while they went back to arranging pastries, as if nothing had happened. As if throwing away someone's heart medication was just another Tuesday afternoon task. "I'll call you later this week," Lucas said absently, not even looking up from his work. "No," I said. "I don't think you will." At home, I called Dr. Peterson's office and explained what had happened. The nurse was horrified and called in an emergency prescription to the pharmacy. While waiting for it to be filled, I sat at my kitchen table and made several other phone calls. The first was to Margaret Chen, my financial advisor and the person who'd helped me build my investment portfolio over the past 15 years. "Margaret, I need to discuss the Morrison Family Trust loan immediately." "Of course, Gloria. Is everything all right? You sound upset." "I'm reconsidering the terms of Lucas's business loan. Specifically, I want to exercise the immediate recall clause." There was a pause. "Gloria, that's a substantial loan. $200,000. If you call it in, they'll have 48 hours to pay in full or face foreclosure." "I understand the terms. I wrote them." What Lucas and Natasha didn't know was that their business loan from Morrison Family Trust wasn't from some anonymous lending institution. The trust was mine, established with money from the insurance settlement after my husband's death and grown through careful investment over 12 years. When Lucas had needed funding for the bakery, I'd arranged the loan through the trust rather than giving him the money directly. I'd wanted him to feel the pride of building something himself, of making payments and earning his success. The trust gave him legitimate business credit while protecting both of us from the complexities of family loans. Are you certain about this decision? Margaret asked. My daughter-in-law just threw my heart medication in the trash and called me a hypochondriac. My son agreed with her. I think that clarifies exactly how much they value my well-being. I'll prepare the paperwork. You'll need to sign the recall notice, and then I'll have it delivered to their business address. My second call was to my attorney, William Hayes. Will, I need to update my estate planning documents. Specifically, I want to remove Lucas as my primary beneficiary. Gloria, that's a significant change. May I ask what's prompted this? I explained the afternoon's events, including the medication incident and Lucas's response. That's elder abuse, Gloria. Potentially criminal elder abuse if they are deliberately interfering with your medical care. I just want them to understand that their behavior has consequences. Who would you like to designate as your new primary beneficiary? I thought about that. The American Heart Association. They understand the importance of heart medication. The next morning, Lucas called while I was having breakfast. Mom, we need to talk. Something weird happened with our business loan. What kind of weird? Some trust company says our loan is being called in immediately. They want the full $200,000 in 48 hours or they'll start foreclosure proceedings. It has to be a mistake. Morrison Family Trust, I said. That's not a mistake. You know about this? Mom, this could destroy our business. We don't have $200,000 sitting around. I'm aware. There was a long silence. Wait. Mom, how do you know the name of the trust? Because I am the trust, Lucas. Morrison was my maiden name. I've been your anonymous business lender for 3 years. I could hear him talking to Natasha in the background, her voice rising to a panicked shriek as he explained what I just told him. That's impossible, he said, returning to the phone. You don't have that kind of money. I had a very good attorney when your father died in that construction accident. The settlement, plus 12 years of careful investing, has been quite profitable. But you live so simply. You never spend money on anything. I spend money on important things. Like heart medication that keeps me alive. Like business loans for ungrateful children who think I'm a hypochondriac. Natasha grabbed the phone. Gloria, you can't do this to us. We've invested everything in this bakery. And I invested in you. $200,000, to be exact. Money you've been paying back with interest for 3 years without even knowing it was mine. But we need more time. The business is just getting off the ground. Then you should have thought about that before throwing my medication in the trash. That was a misunderstanding. We didn't know you were really sick. Natasha, I have severe coronary artery disease. My cardiologist has been monitoring me for 18 months. Those pills you threw away? They prevent me from having a heart attack. Lucas took the phone back. Mom, please. I'm sorry about the medication. I'll buy you new pills. I'll drive you to every doctor's appointment. Just don't destroy our business. You called me a hypochondriac, Lucas. You watched your wife throw away medication that keeps your mother alive, and you supported her. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Some mistakes have consequences. You have 48 hours to pay the loan in full. We can't possibly get that much money in 2 days. Then perhaps you should have considered that before deciding my health was less important than your convenience. Over the next day and a half, they called repeatedly. First with anger, then with desperate pleas, finally with promises to change their behavior. Natasha even offered to personally manage my medical care if I would just extend the loan deadline. But it was too late. Their actions had shown me exactly how they viewed me, as a burden whose medical needs were inconvenient interruptions to their real priorities. On Thursday afternoon, Margaret called to confirm that the full loan amount had not been paid. What would you like me to do with the bakery property? Put it up for sale. Market rate. And the proceeds after the loan is satisfied. The American Heart Association, as discussed. Lucas called that evening, his voice broken. Mom, we lost everything. The bakery, our savings, our credit. Natasha left me. She said she couldn't be married to someone whose mother would destroy their lives over a misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding, Lucas. It was elder abuse. And you enabled it. What am I supposed to do now? I don't have anywhere to go. I thought about that for a long moment. You could start by understanding that your mother's health isn't a performance for your entertainment. You could learn that some things are more important than your convenience. I know that now. I'm sorry. Are you sorry because you understand what you did wrong, or because you're facing consequences? Silence. That's what I thought. I hung up and took my evening heart medication, the prescription Dr. Peterson had called in after Natasha threw away the original pills. Each tablet was a reminder that my health was not negotiable, not something to be dismissed or minimized by people who found it inconvenient. Lucas did eventually find work at another restaurant, starting over as a line cook despite his culinary degree and years of experience. He calls occasionally, usually around holidays, and the conversations are stilted and careful. Natasha moved back to her hometown and married someone else within a year. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she tells people her former mother-in-law was mentally unstable and vindictive. Maybe I was vindictive. But I was also a woman with a serious heart condition whose family thought it was appropriate to throw away her life-saving medication. I was a mother whose son chose his wife's convenience over his mother's health. The American Heart Association sent me a beautiful thank you letter for my donation. They are using part of the money to fund research into treatments for coronary artery disease, and part to provide emergency medication assistance for elderly patients who can't afford their prescriptions. It's a much better legacy than funding a bakery owned by people who think heart medication is optional. Sometimes the best way to teach people the value of something is to show them what life looks like without it. Lucas learned that the hard way, about my financial support, about my love, and about the bridges you can't rebuild once you've burned them. My heart condition is stable now, thanks to proper medication and regular monitoring. I take my pills every day at the same time, grateful for the science that keeps me alive and the wisdom to surround myself only with people who value that life. Some things are too important to compromise on. Your health is one of them.